Welcome to the Battle Ready podcast, where we know that every single day is a battle. This show is about equipping you mentally, physically, and spiritually to win the daily battles. I want you to become totally free, whole, and powerful. It's time to step into your battles equipped and ready to win. I'm your host, Dr. Kaylee Judge. Let's get battle ready. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Battle Ready podcast. I'm excited for you guys. We have been hitting the vaccine topic extremely hard for the last few weeks, and I'm excited to bring in this guest this week because he is going to just shed some light on a perspective from a doctor's view. He has one of the largest chiropractic offices in the whole friggin' world, and he also puts on the largest natural health seminar every year.
It's probably one of the big. It's the biggest in the chiropractic profession. I don't know if it's the biggest in the natural health world, but it's pretty big. So
pretty big. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. His name is Dr. Billy DeMoss, but we call him Billy D. And so we're excited to have him here. He's got some thoughts and some ideas about what the government is up to and what the vaccine proposition is all about. So, Billy, why don't you introduce yourself and give these guys a little bit of an insight of who you are, what you're all about?
All right. Well, I mean, I go back to the 70s. I was a chemistry major, as I tell everybody, really for all the wrong reasons back in the 70s. And I was really, really, really into nutrition and eating healthy. I was juicing back then. I was into macrobiotics. I was, that was back what was cool back in the day. Now we got paleo and all the other things. And you see different trends going on. And then my mom wanted me to be a dentist, and she wanted all of her 4 sons to be dentists. And then I had seen a Merrick chart, which transformed me. I look at this chart and I go, this makes sense. And I never even really knew anything about chiropractic. And somebody actually threw it in front of me in a joking manner, in a condescending joking manner. And I said, this kind of makes a lot of sense. So I kind of pursued chiropractic. I looked into it, and then I came home and told my parents at the dinner table that I had changed my mind. I'd already been accepted to dental school at USC, Loma Linda, and University of Pacific. And I think I was going to go to Loma Linda, to tell you the truth, because it was less expensive. And then I decided to go to LACC. And my mom literally got pissed and told me I was wasting my life because she had been brainwashed about chiropractic, that it was quackery. And now, as we know, we're on the right path. We know who the real quacks are. And then as a way to get back at my mom, I didn't really try to get back at her, but that's what I joke. I made all of my other brothers go to chiropractic school. So we have 4 brothers in the chiropractic profession. And now my parents obviously get it. They live the lifestyle. Not as much as I would like them to, but of course, I'm a little bit of a fanatic when it comes to that. And, in my studies, I was big into a conference back then that they held in Atlanta, Georgia, that I would go to 4 times a year. And one of the things I learned there was this thing about above, down, inside out, which I never really learned in school. I learned basically how to become a low back pain doctor. Didn't really understand chiropractic. And it wasn't until I went to this conference that I learned what real chiropractic was. And then I started questioning everything about, from the germ theory to vaccines. And I mean, I've been talking vaccines ever since I heard Fred Barch talk about it for the first time. And then I started delving into that and reading everything. I mean, I've literally, if you go into my library, I probably have 100 different books on vaccines. And again, people want to question me and they want to see my research. And I always go, well, why am I the one that has to show the research? I mean, I'm not asking you to stick a needle in your arm full of pus. I mean, I'm just living by, natural order, and, I eat healthy and exercise. And I mean, I never, ever, ever get sick. And I grew up as a kid. I probably got 3 vaccines. I was born in 1958. So, and I've got an amazing immune system because I haven't jacked it up with all this friggin' crap that these kids are getting, injected with. And you look at the health of kids today, it's just preposterous. It's like, Jesus, 54% of kids are diagnosed with a chronic disease that requires more medications. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole with me, I'd be more than happy to do this. So that's kind of like my background. I mean, I've got an amazingly beautiful practice. I'm not a chiropractor that gets up on stage and talks about how it used to be in the 80s. I still do it because I still love it. I still love being in the practice. I do take vacations, though. I just got back from snowboarding for a week, and I'm going again next week. But the thing is, I mean, I love being with my peeps. I love being with the kids. I love changing consciousness. I love doing my workshops. I love teaching. And I love people, and I want people to be healthy. And again, we're wired to be healthy. And when you're sick, it's not because you have a shortage of lisinopril or albuterol or Prozac or whatever, all the drugs they're pushing. It's because you're not living congruent to your genes, and you're not doing things. Your lifestyle is basically jacked up, and it's really simple to get people back on the track and just teach them. And I mean, that's what chiropractic and doctor to me means. It means teacher. And that's why we're doing this podcast today, to get more people on board with some simple concepts, which really don't really need any research. It's just, come on, man. It's just friggin' common sense, man.
Yeah, so most of the people listening here are either a patient of mine or they've run into it randomly and they are trying to learn more about how to live a holistic lifestyle. And so what's the number one thing that you think people oh man, I wish you guys could see him drinking his water right now. It's a jar that's bigger than his head. Looks like a beer mug.
We call ourselves, we're in the aquarium club. We drink 3 aquariums a day.
I love it. So what do you think the number one thing is that holds people back from trusting the innate power that's inside of them?
Oh, most people are just literally brainwashed is what it is. I mean, that's why I don't own a TV. That's why I don't have a cell phone. I mean, people are literally getting barraged by outside in philosophy. And it's so hard for them to admit that they've been duped to dope themselves. And that's what people have been done. I mean, it's just like everywhere you look, it's a drug commercial that God didn't create you in his likeness and image, and you need all these outside in interventions. And like I said, it's all about living an above down, inside out lifestyle where God gave you everything that you need to be healthy. You just have to work with that intelligence that God put in your body. And again, as a chiropractor, I mean, I get adjusted 3-4 times a week. I have not only get adjusted here in my clinic, but I go get adjusted upper cervical, because I know that my body works better. I mean, I can feel it. I mean, I'm sure you can too when you're not, because we have a lot of stressors in our lives, and those stressors are going to contribute to subluxation. And I mean, I'm just very passionate about leading a chiropractic lifestyle, but that also means I'm very passionate about chiropractic and getting myself adjusted. And I think the number one thing that I try to get people to understand is that if you don't have a chiropractor on your health team, it's worse than not having a dentist. And again, I also understand the teeth. I mean, my mom wanted me to become a dentist, and I know that teeth also have an impact. In fact, I'm reading a book right now. What book am I reading? I'm reading 2 books right now. One on prostate health, and that's the one that talks about how the teeth can affect, like various teeth in your mouth affect different organ systems in your body. And then I also saw that show called Root Canal on Netflix, which they took down, that showed how just even your dental health will affect your global health. So again, I also get people to understand that every cell in your body talks with every other cell. So it's really important to make sure that you do everything possible to provide your innate intelligence with everything it requires. But again, I get a lot of flack in the chiropractic profession because I talk about, I like to eat healthy and exercise and work out and meditate, and I like to get proper sleep. Some chiropractors are naive enough to think that if they get adjusted, they can eat Burger King and sit on their ass all day. It's just not the way it is. Innate wants you to provide the body with, like you said, healthy water, good exercise, positive vibes, be happy, loving towards people, get proper rest. And then, then the adjustments on top of that's the icing on the cake. So.
Yeah, you keep talking about leading a chiropractic lifestyle, and it really
I get flack for that too.
No, I know. Me too. Listen, I grew up in chiropractic, I get it. And we teach in our office. We teach nutrition and exercise and detoxification, and that's really what
Right.
this podcast is too. I think even if BJ and Dee Dee were around, they would say you got to eat better, and they did in the green books. They talked about thoughts, traumas, and toxins, and that includes our food sources now, and especially the injections that we're getting put into our bodies forcefully and also willingly. So when we talk about leading a chiropractic lifestyle, it's really shifting your mindset towards your body is designed to heal itself. And so how do we give it that ability to do that? Are the things that we're eating going to be building our health? Are the things that we're eating going to be destroying our health? And so it's really that decision. Is the exercise that I'm wanting to do today going to be building my health, or is it better? Sometimes it is better for you to have a rest day.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think that people use that as an excuse that they need to have a whole rest year. And, right? Like it's one day. And I fall into the trap too. And it's just a lifestyle that you have to maintain. Our society and our government, they want to attack disease as if it was an army coming after them. And it's like, man,
Right.
if you just already build up the armor within you, your body's designed to attack that. We don't need to be putting injections in. And that's really what I want to just dive into today. And maybe we are going to go down a rabbit hole, but I'm okay with doing that because I really want to hear your perspective and the passion that you have towards that. Because I see what you write, I see what you're reading and what you share with your people. And I really want to hear, why did you become so passionate about learning about vaccinations? Why do you think that our government really truly is like poisoning us, poisoning our water, poisoning our air, the pollution, poisoning, Wi-Fi. We've got 5G coming out. We've got all kinds of mandates and things happening to us. And why is that happening? And what are the options that we have? So can you speak into that a little bit?
Well, first off, with the whole vaccine agenda, we know, at least I know, and I know you know, that the whole political corruption is paid for by big pharma. Your media is controlled by big pharma. So what we do is we literally come up with the epidemic of the year, whether it's Zika or whether it's Ebola, or now we've got coronavirus, to sell an agenda to get people to willingly poison themselves with a vaccine. And then as soon as everybody gets poisoned, then we say, oh, we cleared the coronavirus or whatever. And then they take credit for something. So they're really kind of reinitiating and re-brainwashing people with the fact that the vaccines actually work. Again, I come from a perspective that your body is a self-healing organism, as you believe. And the thing is, your body was designed to dance with everything in its environment. And now we have kids that maybe get measles, but they don't get it the way we got it, or I got it. Because I got the measles and I got the mumps, and we probably all got polio. We probably all got a lot of things, and we got it subclinically, because if we have a higher resistance by doing the chiropractic lifestyle, and I know some chiropractors hate that. I love it. I think we should embrace that as chiropractors, because most people are living an outside-in lifestyle. But the thing is, if you build up resistance to everything in your environment, then you're going to have greater resistance to everything from the cold to even cancer. So I feel it's really important for people to naturally acquire immunity by learning to dance with the measles and the chicken pox and the mumps and polio and whatever everything else. The thing is, people have to come to this realization that there is millions of microbes out there that have the potential to really create havoc in your body. But if your body is strong and resistant, it's going to learn to dance, and it's going to learn to build up its own natural immunity, which really strengthens the body. It's like if you're a Super Bowl team, you don't just show up to the Super Bowl team or to the game, even though I don't like the Super Bowl, I call it the Stupid Bowl. They don't show up to the Stupid Bowl without having practiced for hours and hours. And that's what your body does when it learns to interact with this environment. It gets strong by being barraged by different viruses and bacteria. And then the body adapts and creates its own defense and higher immunity. And that's how I've been in practice for 35 years, honey. And it's just like, can I still say honey? I don't know what I can say anymore.
I'm okay with it.
I don't give a shit, to be honest with you, because I'm old enough that I don't have to play that stupid game. And again, it's a stupid game about creating more division. As we create more division among people, then we're going to be easily conquered. That's all this whole agenda is about. And once you know the game, you know the end game, you know, and you see every play on the friggin' playbook. I can predict shit that's going to happen. Like when the Real ID came out, I go, you know what that's all about? In fact, I'm doing a podcast on that next week with Robert Scott Bell. I saw that Real ID and I go, that's going to be a tracking device to make sure that you're vaccinated before you get on a plane. That's all that's about. I mean, so when I went to get my license redone, I went for the old school one because I'm going to use my passport as long as I can. So there's a tip right there, folks. Don't get the Real ID unless you have to get it, because that's just going to be, you're going to be tracked is what it is. And again, you might think it's conspiracy. You might think the GONs is, whether you think it's conspiracy or not, it's happening. You can live in denial, but the more of us that get on page, the more of us that see the light, the better chance we're going to have of turning this around. And we don't need every friggin' moron on the planet to get on this page with us. We only need 18% or 20%, as Malcolm Gladwell says, to get to that tipping point. And then all the monkeys are going to wash their potatoes, and all the monkeys are going to see the light of what's going on in this global agenda towards depopulation. So that's really what it all is.
And it's even like with this coronavirus thing, you know, I was watching something, I don't know, a video came up on Facebook, and over in China, they have like these fog machines, and they're going through the street. I think they're even doing it in New York now. They're going through the streets and like fogging as if like that's going to kill this virus. And it's like, when did we become so afraid? It's like those movies that we used to watch when I was a kid, and it's like the end of the world. And I feel like we're creating, you know what I mean? I feel like we're creating the end of the world on our own with the things that we're trying to do. And, you know, one of the books that we read is in chiropractic philosophy is called Life Without Fear. And that really truly is what a chiropractic lifestyle is. Like, I don't walk around feeling like I need to put a mask on or put gloves on or put a hazmat suit on to go onto an airplane. Because I know that my body can fight it. You know, maybe I had the coronavirus. I don't even know. I don't even have a thermometer, so I don't even know what it is. And I had a cough and a cold or like sniffles the other day, from traveling and, you know, not sleeping the way that I normally do. But guess what? It was about 18-hour thing, and I'm better, ready to go, and on fire for everything. What did I do? I didn't run to the doctor. I didn't get tested for which virus I have. I let my body rest. I gave it the proper fluids. I got adjusted. I took the vitamins and supplements that I felt like my body was missing or lacking. And I let my immune system go back to work. And I really think that the problem is that we don't understand that we have an immune system. We feel
right.
like, you know?
Yeah.
Like we have it. We have what we need. And so where did that, do you have any idea like where that flip switched, where we think that, okay, our body is amazing enough, which that's even starting to switch. Our body's amazing enough to build a human inside of another human. Yet as soon as it comes out, it's that human is no longer able to survive on its own. And so when we talk vaccines, that's really like the major premise over it, that our body's all of a sudden not able to fend off diseases, and if it comes in contact with anything, it's the end of the day. However, it's totally okay to inject the bloodstream of an infant with tons and tons of chemicals, and there's no issue with that. Like, how is that okay? What do you think there?
Yeah, that's what I teach my peeps in my practice. I say, listen, folks, you got a sperm cell and an egg cell, and those two cells can come together. What's that?
Nothing.
You're breaking up a lot for me. I don't know what it is, but we're having an unstable connection. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Okay, yeah.
Are you on a landline?
I'm on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm on a landline. So I usually do these always on a landline. That way there's no disruption. So back to your question, though. What happens, I mean, I get my peeps in my practice to understand a sperm cell and an egg cell can come together, and literally it goes from the 2 cells to 1 cell to 2 cells to 4 cells to 8 cells to 16 cells, and it created you. It created a human life. So the intelligence is already there, folks. I mean, if it can create this amazing miracle of life and this baby that's got, you know, it builds a brain, it builds eyeball. I mean, when you think about life and you think about what, how life is created through just the act of God, that how could you have more faith in a spoonful of medicine or a lotion or a potion or in a needle from a friggin' vaccinator than you do the intelligence that created all life? I mean, it's just that people have literally been so brainwashed, and there's all this fear that's pushed out, and people, it's mind-blowing to me that people fall for this all the time. It's like it's the same, boy cried wolf every year, and people fall for it every year. It's like, can't you see that they've been doing this for eons and eons and eons, trying to sell an agenda to get you to inject poisonous, toxic, neurotoxic, carcinogenic, allergenic chemicals. And that's why you've got so many sick people. And I get people to understand, look, they brought us the Oxycontin epidemic. We had the Celebrex epidemic. We have all these different things with drugs have caused. In fact, to me, and people say that, medicine's the third leading cause of preventable. And no, it's the number one leading cause of preventable death, because a lot of people take stupid drugs and not change their lifestyle. And then they have their heart attack, or they do get cancer because they didn't listen to their bodies. They suppress symptoms by taking drugs. Again, I come from a family that we don't take drugs. Even my dad, he goes to like CVS and he gives people a hard time in the store. Like they come up to him and say, "Would you like a flu shot today?" And my dad's like cantankerous, man. He know, because he's got 4 sons that are chiropractors. Sometimes it's embarrassing going to CVS with him. Not that I go to CVS I go there to get earplugs for surfing. But he's just funny because he gets it, and it's not that hard. You don't have to be a genius, It's just, to me, it's just like they're selling a medical agenda. I get people to understand, hey, if you sell drugs, you're going to want people to take drugs. You're not going to want a healthy population. I mean, that would be counterproductive. So why would we want to vaccinate people to make them healthy? But the reality is just the reverse. They inject people to make them sick. I mean, all of these autoimmune diseases that we suffer, not all of them, but most of them, are because you're actually effing with the friggin' immune system. You're injecting all these. I thought I was going to be mellow today. I said, you know what? But it's hard for me to be mellow when I talk about this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if you're a drug, so we create a need, and we also mandate the vaccines, and then we create all the back end business by treating all the side effects. When I grew up, I didn't know anybody that was asthmatic, or we didn't have ADD and ADHD. We didn't have autism. We didn't have learning disabilities. We didn't have special education classes. All of that is new because we're injecting neurotoxic. We didn't have childhood cancer because we weren't injecting cancer frigging into people. And again, if you don't believe me or you don't believe Kaylee, then just do it. I mean, I'm not here to change. I want to change the people that see the light. I mean, again, there is natural selection, and the people that can't see the light are the ones that are going to be selected out of the gene pool. That's how it is. And again, I just have faith in my body. Is there something? I mean, I'm 61 years old. I got more energy than a hummingbird on crack cocaine. It's because I do what I teach people, and it isn't hard. It's not rocket science. Just eat food. Stop eating crap. Eat congruent to your genes. Drink healthy, clean water. That's not loaded with fluoride, toxin, arsenic, radioactive uranium. At least that's what we have in our water around here. That's why, I even started my own water company, because I'm passionate about water. Get some grounding in on a daily basis. You said it earlier, detoxify. We live in the most toxic world ever because we've got cumulative toxicity from years and years of things like I mean, people talk, well, I don't believe in global warming. Well, I don't care what you believe in. We can't continue to burn fossil fuels, which are toxic chemicals that we're spewing into the environment, which is destroying our environment. We have to figure out a different source of energy, which it's called the sun, folks. That's where the fossil fuels came from. It came from the sun. So if we can learn better how to harness the sun and create electrical energy, and then we have cars that aren't spewing carbon monoxide and all the other toxic chemicals. And again, call me a quack. I don't care what you call me. I just know that I'm right on a lot of these issues. So you have a pharmaceutical industry with the goal to keep people sick, keep them dependent on drugs. We're 5% of the planet in the United States. We take 60% of the drugs because we can openly where else are we having vaccines mandated at the level we're having here? Again, I just traveled to the Marshall Islands surfing. I was just where else was I? I traveled so much I can't even keep track of where I've been. I was just in Mammoth, but the same thing. They've got all the measles scare. Whatever happened to the measles? That was like the big scare. Now measles is no longer center stage. It's now Corona. It's just so funny how you see just this marketing it's like the news. Again, read 1984, read Brave New World. They talk about the telescreen and how that is just a tool to put fear in people, to brainwash you, to create all these false flags and all these false wars that we have to go down here and fight this war. We got to go fight that war because we make money on the back end. We make money on the front end. And at the same time, we're killing more and more people. It's just, again, talk about 9/11, talk about all that stuff. Again, some people think, oh my God, I can't believe you think that. It's like, I can't believe you can't see through that bullshit. It's just like, to me, it's so blatantly obvious what is going on. And when you know the end game, you know where this is all going, it's so vivid and you can predict the next move that they're going to make.
So what if you were a person listening to this and you know, like, your family is in deep, like you've done all the vaccinations, your meal planning is which fast food place are you going to go to on which day, your biggest amount of exercise is getting up to go to the bathroom, like that you're in deep. Where's the best place to start, or how can somebody start clawing themselves out of the medical model lifestyle and moving into the chiropractic lifestyle without getting overwhelmed? Because it can, if you try to tackle this head on, I feel like it can get overwhelming for somebody that's been living a total opposite lifestyle. So how do you teach your patients to kind of drag out of that?
Well, how I do it is we have workshops every week. So I just finished a detox workshop. Next week, I'm doing a sleep workshop, which was my biggest issue because my brain never shuts up. So I really worked with, I thought essential oils was like, oh my God, give me a break. And then I started looking into it and I started studying it. And it's like, wow, there's actually some science to this stuff. And I've never slept better. In fact, this morning I got up at 9:00, but I didn't go to bed till 1. So don't think I'm like a lazy bum or anything. I'm just a night owl. I think you have to slowly, incrementally make change and don't beat yourself up over it. Either that or just buy some life insurance. I think that would be it's either change or buy life insurance is one of the two. It's that obvious. So that your family's taken care of. There's no way you can lead an outside in sickness model. I mean, I saw a fact yesterday. I don't know where I saw it. I think I was on Facebook that 64% of people are now obese or overweight. And that's hugely, I mean, people look at things like drugs like cocaine and heroin and all these drugs, which are bad. But sugar to me is right up there. Sugar is like, it destroys life. It creates diabetes. It destroys your brain. I mean, it's a drug. And so are cell phones a drug. Cell phones, I mean, I don't own a phone either. I know people think I'm nuts for that, but I know I'm smart. Plus, I don't like people to be able to always get a hold of me. I like to just, like, when I leave here today at 12 o'clock, which is in about 20, 40 minutes, I'm going to go to the beach, and I don't want anybody to be able to even find me. I want to just go disconnect, put my feet in the sand, ground myself, and go surfing and do whatever I'm going to do down there. I don't think there's any way, so I might have to run in the sand today. And exercise and move. I mean, so slow changes. So start with maybe just drink. I think one of the things people could do, one of the first things people could do is just drink more water. Like you commented on my glass. Hunter-gatherers didn't drink Kool-Aid or whatever people drink these days, or Red Bull or coronavirus beer. Or I've heard Corona beer has less, their
The
sales are
stocks
down.
went down
That's
because
how stupid people are.
they
I'm
think they're
saying
getting the
stupid.
virus from drinking the Corona beer. That's the
I
best.
really am starting to lose hope. It shows me that the vaccines are really doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is lowering your IQ. I mean, you can't inject neurotoxic chemicals into yourself and not have some type of brain damage from it. I mean, quite obvious. And, you might be somewhere on that, perspective there. You might be somewhere on that whole autism spectrum. But you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Again, people go, well, my kids are fine. They didn't have any problems. I go, your kids probably would have been a lot smarter than they are. And they probably would have been better athletes if you didn't inject them full of neurotoxic chemicals. That's just my opinion based on just common sense again. People go, where do you research? I go, well, I mean, I just don't think it's good to shoot aluminum and mercury into a newborn. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense knowing that mercury is one of the most toxic substances on the planet. It's just, again, I don't need any research to do that. I just know that if I wouldn't inject arsenic into my kid. I mean, but you do that anyways, there's just arsenic in your water. So again, first thing is eat or drink more water. I think that would be the first starting point for people. And then maybe just get them to do some half-hour exercise 3 days a week. And then when they start to get a little bit more energy, maybe they're going to want to do 4 or 5 days a week. And then I have people turn off their TV sets. In fact, don't even watch TV. If you want to have a great life, don't watch TV. I watch things like Netflix that's controlled, where there's not commercials on it, brainwashing me. I don't watch the news. The news is all fake news, selling you through the telescreen on what they want you to believe. I'm really big on making sure I get proper rest and sleep, and I stick to a regular schedule on that, except for when we're traveling. As you know, we travel a lot. Speaking, I'm big on detox too. I detox every day. I have a little juice I do in the morning, which is lemon juice with apple cider vinegar. I put some BioSil in there, which helps pull aluminum out of my brain. I put chlorella in there every day, which is another chelator. At lunch, I'll do some cilantro, which is another chelator. And then I do total cellular detox, TCD. I do cell core stuff. I always continually detoxing, because we live in a toxic world, and you got to pull that crap out, or you're going to have problems as you get older. And I don't want to get Alzheimer's. And cognitive decline is going to be, and dementia and Alzheimer's is going to be the number one disease in the next probably decade. It's already the number one disease in the UK. So if you can see that coming down the pike, you should do things in preparation and things to obviously dodge that bullet. So that's where detox comes in.
Can we park there for a second? Because I've just recently started doing some blood work testing and some things on a few people. And the stuff that's coming back is blowing my mind. One of the things is the off-gassing from when you're putting gas into your car.
Wow.
Like it's coming into the cells and it's getting stuck in there. So that's one of them. And so people always, like I hear like one of my responses is, you need to do a detox. And a lot of times like, no, I'm good. I eat well. And it's like, I don't care if you eat well, there's still toxins floating around you or that have been in you for a long time that you don't even know that they're there. And so how do we get those out of us? There's certain protocols that we're doing. One of the other thing is mold. Mold is huge. People are being affected by mold, which is shutting down their digestive system, which ultimately is shutting down their immune system, which ultimately is causing even more cognitive decline and more health and
Exactly.
inflammation and all kinds of issues. And so what I want to do is empower you, if you're listening, to never become the person that thinks that they're good, that they're in a good place, because there's always another level for you to go to. There's always going to be something that you can do, because let's face it, like we don't live in a bubble, right? Like we're constantly surrounded by more and more toxins every single day. And I am super passionate about getting those toxins out of us. your body will respond rapidly. Just one of my patients, we've been doing this for 2 weeks, going through a mold detox, and her digestive system totally did a complete change, because we're getting rid of the pathogens that have been living in there for years and creating a home. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's got a normal bowel movement. That's the first time that's happened in years. Well, now her body's able to finally detox the things that it's been holding on to. And so watch the weight come off. I never want to talk about weight loss being I don't want to be a weight loss clinic, but it is a side effect. If you're holding extra weight, that's a side effect of you're living a poor lifestyle, and you've got some sort of toxic buildup that's stuck in there that we need to get that rid of. So yeah, I just went on a little tangent there.
That's all right. I like your tangent. How do you do the mold detox? I'm kind of curious.
Cellcore has a whole kit, and it's been working amazing.
Cool. And they were a sponsor at CalJam too. So, and I've been starting the Cellcore regimen. I'm in the phase 1 right now.
I just started using their product with a few people, and it's been amazing. Have
you used it on yourself
responses.
Though?
I did the mold detox also, and my body changes too. So, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, people, they might not think they need it, but if you just look outside today, we're being sprayed by strontium, barium, aluminum, or whatever else they're spraying in the spray. I mean, people want to think that's conspiracy theory. When I was a kid, I wanted to become actually a meteorologist. I was really intrigued with weather. And then as I got older, I kind of noticed a different kind of cloud that was in the air, which was a persistent contrail, or which we now call chemtrails, and again, the government admits that they're doing it, but people still want to deny it. They're doing it as a solar radiation management to reflect the sun out to prevent global warming. Whether there's global warming or not, I don't want to get in that debate right now, okay? Because people get very sensitive about things. But I mean, when your government admits that they're doing it to protect the planet, I don't know why you need to be in denial about it. But what they do is they spray toxic metals into the sky to reflect the sun back on, and it works. I mean, you can see it happen. I mean, I'll be here surfing, and the sky's clear, and they'll come and spray, and you can feel the temperature drop immediately. It's just like clouds come, and they are manufactured clouds. So people think that they're eating healthy and drinking clean water and leading a clean lifestyle, but again, it's hard not to breathe. And those particles are so small, they're nanoparticles. There's no way to really filter. I mean, if I've been thinking about this, if there's any way we could come up with some type of filtration device that we could wear while we breathe, then that would be the answer. But again, I don't think that would probably work, especially for things that I do, like surfing. But I think that would be a huge, you see people wearing masks to prevent viruses from getting in. I don't know how we're going to figure out a mask to prevent nanoparticulate metals from being inhaled, and then all that stuff goes to your brain. And I say it all the time, you're getting the metals from the vaccines, you're getting the metals in your air, there's probably some metals in your water, there's probably metals in your food, and all that gets stuck up in your brain, and that's called your cognitive decline. But also then when we turn the 5G on, it's going to be like sticking your head in a friggin' microwave, and then your people are going to be dropping like flies from that. And then they're going to call it whatever disease they want to call it, coronavirus, whatever they make up this year. And then again, when you understand the game, and again, I don't want to be depressing to people, I just want people to wake up and do things and get on this movement to really change consciousness, so we can really, again, I'm 62, people don't give a shit, then I mean, it's the kids. That's why I've really kind of changed my energy and emphasis more towards younger people, because they got a lot more skin in the game. I mean, I know you're way younger than me, and I don't know if you have kids or not, but again, the world that they are going to grow up in is not the same world that I grew up in 1958, in the 60s. It's a completely different world. And I feel sorry for kids, but the thing is, I'm very optimistic that people will wake up, because we're seeing such desperation on the side, especially from the pharmaceutical industry and the medical. I mean, there's how many doctors could really feel that? I mean, that's why so many medical doctors have jumped into functional medicine, which is great. But how could you really feel good about injecting kids on it? I mean, I as a chiropractor working on pediatric patients in my practice, you see just amazing results. But how could you be somebody that sticks needles in kids? I mean, unless you're just really frigging you brainwashed yourself. I don't know how you could do that on a daily basis and feel good about what you're doing, and then giving kids drugs and antibiotics and just making them worse and worse and worse. That whole system's broken. It's antiquated. And if you're like even remotely awake, how could you be in that practice and feel good about what you're doing to people? It's just such a backwards, antiquated system.
Yeah, I don't know how. I can't really speak into that because I feel bad when a kid cries while they're getting adjusted, and I know what the power of that adjustment is going to do for them. And,
Right.
and so I couldn't even imagine, like I watch videos of kids getting shots. I remember
Horrible.
when I was a kid, so I wasn't vaccinated, but I almost was. So
That's why you're so smart and beautiful.
there we go. We know the answer now. So my parents, we moved down to Florida, and my mom thought that she kind of got like bullied into having me get vaccinated, and we moved away from like our chiropractic family. And so we went into the doctor's office, and like my innate knew, because I started running around the room and like jumping on the table, hiding under the table. Finally, I got to the door, and I busted out of the door, ran to the bathroom. My mom was like, "Okay, we're not doing this." And so we escaped the vaccination process. But it's such a huge thing, because innately we know that our bodies can heal. And I'm sure like even parents, and I never want to shame a parent
No.
who has walked down that road. So I'm really trying to tread lightly on this conversation through this last few weeks, because rather than shaming you, I want to empower you to, wherever you're at, you still can make better decisions and better choices. If you've gone down the road of vaccination, if you've gone down the road of different medications and diagnoses, there's still a chance at the end of the story to rewrite the ending. It doesn't have to be that way. There's still natural solutions. So if you're feeling this internal conflict, internal conviction, then maybe it is time for you to start doing your own research and start digging in and understanding, wait, is what they're saying true? Is what they're saying right? Can the body heal on its own? Does my body have enough of an armor? I know when patients come in and they go through their first cold symptoms, and they come in like, I got through it and I didn't take medications this time, and that was the first time ever. And it's like, hallelujah, like praise God, because that's empowerment right there. They know there's evidence within themselves that they can fight an illness, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, I never take medications. I mean, I've only taken drugs once in my entire life. I've never taken an antibiotic. And it's not because my parents were smart, as my dad just didn't trust doctors. And plus, my dad, didn't want to spend the money. He was kind of cheap when it came to doctors. And, he had 5 kids. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. So when we got sick, we just burned through it. And I praise my dad all the time for doing that. Not like he grew up in a chiropractic lifestyle. And
Yeah.
he just didn't trust doctors, And again, I say that all the time. I mean, I think the most dangerous doctor to go to is a pediatrician. I mean, why do you need to go to a pediatrician unless you have some type of really crisis that your child's going through? They're only going to push their agenda. And again, I feel that people should, if you've got issues with your children's health, taking them to somebody that's conservative, i.e. a chiropractor, that's going to work with the innate intelligence of the body and just get the train back on the track and do things, whether it's, you've got some eating or some nutritional issues, or you've got some type of, these kids are trained and by all the digital devices. They don't get any exercise anymore. I mean, when I grew up, we didn't have frigging iPods and iPads and all this stuff that kids look at. I mean, I see it in my practice. These kids come in and they can't even put their phone down for 30 seconds or they're freaking out. And to me, it's mind blowing to me to see that. So there's a lot of things you can do. Like, you and I know that we are wired to be healthy. or we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. Like as BJ Palmer said, who was one of the founders of chiropractic, if the germ theory of disease were true, there would be no one living to believe it. I mean, you're not sick because there's microbes everywhere. It's just whether or not you've got such to me, I know I've got an amazing resistance because I'm a high vibrational, high tone, high energy individual that has resistance to all the stressors that are out there. And the more you build up your inner resistance, the stronger your immune function is going to be, the better the clarity of your thought, the better your cognition is going to be, everything's better. And it's not hard. It's just you got to live by the golden rules, which is just living congruent to genes. You know, it's simple. Eat food, drink water, move, be happy, be grateful, be loving towards others, get adjusted. If you didn't sit 8 hours on your butt all day, sitting at your desk on your computers 8 hours a day is literally worse than smoking 2 packs of cigarettes. So, you know, people like, oh my God, that person smokes. Oh my God, that person sits and eats chocolate and sugar all day. Not chocolate's bad. But again, put things in perspective, you know, everything. And I'm not advocating people smoke cigarettes, but I'm saying if you're going to call an orange, let's call an orange. You know, it's not sitting is worse than smoking. It's just, not from so many different perspectives. Movement is so important for so many different things in your life. That's why after we're done with this conversation, I'm going to go out and dance on the ocean. I'm going to go surfing and do things to not only put motion and exercise and work my cardiovascular system, but I'm also going to be grounding myself. There's no better way to grounding than being in the ocean. But then again, I have to also deal with the toxicity in the ocean. That's why we do detox. You know, I mean, I can't go clean the ocean up. So
you can't.
I'm working on it, though.
I'm sure you are.
One of these years, I've been trying to get Kelly Slater to come speak at Cal Jam about, you know, cleaning up the oceans. But don't get me going down that rabbit hole now, please.
There's a lot of rods we could get going down.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world. So, and that's why we do what we do, because we need to eat. And that's why I created Cal Jam, is because I want people to, you know, that's why I bring, like, people go, oh, well, it's not just chiropractic. Well, I don't want it to be just chiropractic. Chiropractic's great, you know, and it works amazingly, but I just want people to know we have to have a planet to practice on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And people to practice on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I mean, everybody can say, well, we can go to Mars and we can go there and screw that planet up next. I mean, the thing is, this planet, it was designed for us. Mars was not designed for us, or there'd be people living there. So.
Right. As we wrap up here, do you have any words of wisdom for people walking through life aimlessly, or on maybe there's somebody that's like been doing amazing stuff and they're totally on board with all of this that we're talking about? Maybe some encouragement, some empowering words to help them to continue to move forward.
I think what we really need to do is create a shift in consciousness globally, which is happening, and because you can see by the desperation by the other side. So I think it's important for people, when they are doing good, like you said, to share that information with other people. And the more people like you and I and people that get it, sharing this information, not only on a one-to-one basis or through speaking or through social media or whatever method, like the podcast we're doing right now, the more people that get it, the more we're going to have the potential to change the world in the direction that it needs to go. And again, share your wins with other people. I mean, that's what I like to do in my practice. I like to have testimonials all the time and put those on Instagram and Facebook. So people understand the real truth about chiropractic. Chiropractic's not about treating anything. It doesn't cure anything. What it does is it upregulates the body back to a natural level of vibrancy by removing interference, allowing the lux, the light, to flow, you know, fluidly through the body to create abundant health. Again, people say, we chiropractors think they can cure anything. I can't cure anything, bro. The body created you from 2 cells. It knows how to cure everything from a hangnail to full-blown stage 4 cancer. But what you got to do is work with that innate intelligence and provide it with what it needs. We could start talking about cancer now if you want, but it's just like, it's all the same thing, man. The body is an amazing, 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 miraculous gift from God that God gave you. And I tell people, treat your body with respect and treat it with honor and take care of it like God intended it, and do things that you know. See, people know that eating burger toilet and McToilet and all that crap that they eat, and drinking Cokes, they know that stuff's not good for them. Start respecting your body. And I say this in my practice all the time. You should take care of your body like an elite Olympic athlete does. Do everything, because you are an athlete. I mean, and you're an athlete that goes through life. You as an athlete, you might be a parent or a mom. You might be, somebody that's, an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you're an athlete because your brain needs to have full function and function at 100%. So everything that you can do in your life to train as if you're an elite athlete and do everything that this is not rocket science, Kaylee. This is just frigging, like, people, where's your research? I don't need research to know that I should eat healthy food and move. It's like, all right. So
so guys, if you're listening to this, or if you listen to any of the episodes of this podcast, once you can't unknow it. And so now your duty is to go out and share this with somebody. So if God laid somebody on your heart, just link this to them, send them a message, put it on your Facebook. I don't know how you share it, how you want to do it, but get the word out to people, and just share your knowledge with them so that they can go out and make conscious decisions for this stuff and know that they have a choice, because some people just really think that they don't have an option. And so there always is another way. So Billy D, thank you for joining us on the Battle Ready podcast. I so appreciate your time. I know you're busy, but we appreciate
I'm actually kind of cruising right now, which is good.
Good. Perfect.
Post-Cal Jam.
Yeah. Awesome. So thank you for being on here, and we will hopefully talk to you soon. Maybe we'll have you back on to talk about some other fun topics.
Yeah, whatever you want, babe.
All righty. We'll see you guys later.